It's a brand new day and we are so glad to have you with us. This is Daybreak Live on Dominion Television and it's Thursday, the 10th day of July 2025. I am Pat Aitu Sensei.
Yeah, I'm Samson Balogun. Always a pleasure to be a part of your morning, helping you ease into the day with updates, headlines, thoughtful conversations and yes, a little fun along the way.
Now, we have got quite a lineup for you this morning, but first thing first, how did you sleep, Samson?
Well, I must tell you, I slept really well, and I must ask you to.
You look tired.
No, I'm not really tired,
but
I'm fine.
All right, I am fine as well. Thank
you, and the cool breeze made it even better. And speaking of weather, most of the southwest will see a mix of sun and light showers today. So keep an umbrella handy just in case. It's going to be around 30 degrees Celsius, not too hot, and of course not too chilly.
Well, talking about the umbrella, I forgot my atom. So
you might be needing one.
Well, maybe I'll get to one on my way home. Northern parts of the country expect dry and sunny skies, especially around Kano and Sokoto State, but don't be fooled. The heat is very real. Stay hydrated, folks.
Yes, absolutely. Now let's get to it. We begin as always with Daybreak News, bringing you everything that happened while you were asleep and what's unfolding as the day begins, locally and globally.
From government policies and economy to human interest stories and global affairs, we got it covered. After that, we'll dive into newspaper headlines and analysis, and where we unpack the front pages from across Nigeria, what's been said, what's not been said, and what it all means for us.
And our big story today is one that's caught a lot of attentions across Oyo State and beyond. The Oyo State government has reportedly procured 2 aircraft. Yes, you heard me right, 2 aircraft to boost internal security and surveillance operations in the state.
Well, big move indeed. It's raised a lot of eyebrows and some are praising it as a forward-thinking step in security innovation, while others are asking about priorities, costs and strategy. To help us unpack all of this, we will be speaking with Honorable Olawiyo Molaja, a stalwart of the APC and someone with insight into both governance and politics in the region.
Well, we'll be asking, the hard questions. Is this a game changer for security management in the southwest, or is it just optics? And how exactly will these aircraft be deployed, of course, to aid security in the state?
Well, it promises to be an engaging conversation, and we want you to be part of it. So stay with us.
Yes, that's right. Of course, we'll round off the hour with Trend Watch, what people are saying online, the stories going viral across social media platforms, and how Nigerians are reacting to the headlines and the humorous, dramatic, or surprising beats of life on the internet.
So stick with us, whether you are getting ready for work, heading to school, or just enjoy the calm morning at home. This is Daybreak Live, fresh, informed, and always a step ahead.
You can join the conversation by linking up with us on all social media platforms, Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. It is at Dominion Broadcast. On X, formerly Twitter, it is at Dominion Cast. You can watch us live on our website, www.dominion.org.ng, dominion.org.ng. You can also watch us live, subscribe to our YouTube channel at Dominion Broadcast. Drop your comment there. We are definitely going to take them. So, good morning to you, Nigerians. Good morning to you, Pat Aitu.
Good morning, Samson Balogun.
Well, it's really nice to be here with you on a Thursday. They call it Throwback Thursday. I expected to see that old school 1960s or 50s
I forgot the way I forgot my umbrella at home.
Okay, you are doing the African Queen style today, which is fine. I understand that. But let's talk about, the former chairman of the APC, who is former governor of Kano State, Abdullahi Umar Ganduje, who resigned on health grounds. But now he's been seconded to be at FAAN, the airport authority, and of course will be in charge of strategic decisions as regards aviation in Nigeria. I mean, isn't that a sudden turn of events?
Sudden turn of event for what?
I mean, he was said to have resigned because of health situation. So you mean he's not going to, encounter some challenges while working at, FAN?
That's exactly where its health really wants to be. Yes, that says it. I'm seeing it from the angle of the father of politics. I mean, President Tinubu is actually trying to play some politics with the other coalition party, talking about ADC. And the part to use, how to go about it, is using this man. He was pushed out, let me use that word, it was pushed out of APC as in being the chairman of APC, to like, okay, this is what you have to say on the ground of health issues, that's why you're resigning, and let's just have it that way. One, President Tinubu is actually looking at it like, oh, you won't be able to hit the coalition, I mean the ADC, back the way I wanted it to be done. So in actual sense, let me just...
You need someone with a clean slate.
In actual sense, I just want you to just step down a bit. I'll give you another portfolio. And that's the portfolio we have. That's the Federal Airline Authority of Nigeria. So strategic plans are ahead of saying how to hit the ADC. Now, Kwame is going to make some moves, some policies, and that policies was aligned with how to.
Now let me bring you
ADC.
My own theory. What I thought about overnight. I've been thinking about it. What could have happened, and why is Abdullahi Umar Ganduje seconded to be in charge of FAN? But then I came to the conclusion that well, this might just be hypothetical. This might be a theory, ringing in my head, but that could be it. At this time, Abdullahi Umar Ganduje, you have to give him his flowers. He really tried for the APC. Okay. He was in charge. He was at the helm of affairs, and then the APC swept and came back to power through President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. Give him his flowers for that. And when you look at the situation of things, President Muhammadu Buhari, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu wants to return to office come 2027. And then there are insinuations that he might not he might drop Kashim Shettima as vice president. So one of the reasons Kashim Shettima will be dropped is if the APC national chairman is from his region. And as we speak, the acting APC national chairman is from Maiduguri, is from Borno State. So meaning a vice president will not be picked from that region anymore. So
they will have that one to counter with it, that we've given you.
We have given you a slot,
the national
and then
chairman.
We'll have to pick a vice presidential candidate from another, region, or assistants. We have 6 geopolitical zones, so it will come from another geopolitical zone, and that is one. Two, Rabiu Musa Kwankwaso is an ally of the president. Whatever it is you see him say on the paper or anywhere,
he knows how to
TV,
go back and
they always know how to come back and say no permanent enemy, no permanent friend. So Rabiu Musa Kwankwaso might likely come to the APC. He will not come to the APC where Abdullahi Umar Ganduje is the chairman, because he actually handed over power to Ganduje in Kano State. So meaning they are friends. They were friends before they had their issues.
Their differences.
So if Kwankwaso is coming to the APC, he will not come to an APC where Ganduje is the chairman. He feels he's superior to him politically. That is another angle. So it means that Kwankwaso might likely be the running mate of Mr. President come 2027. And the permutation is already on ground. Whoever is not saying this now, it might change. That's just my own theory.
That's politics.
But that is politics. So as it stands now, the grounds are shifting. The sands are moving. The APC, they are seeing what the ADC is doing. They are seeing what the coalition is doing, and they know exactly how to counter it. So look, we have the national chairman from Maiduguri, so we are still going to secure, if not 100% of what we got in the last election, might still get about 60, which is fine. Kano State was a little bit difficult, territory for them to actually, get the maximum votes in the last election. NPP won the gubernatorial election in that state, and that was the anointed candidate of Rabiu Musa Kwankwaso. So, meaning that if the structure of the NPP is collapsed into that of the APC in Kano State, believe you me, APC is going to sweep that state and some other neighboring states. So it tells you that there's a lot going on. But that is my own permutation.
That's exactly why I'm saying that the father of politics is actually doing something. He's actually strategizing on how he will come back in 2027. Even if you have 10 parties collating together, but he knows how to deal with it. But then I'm actually looking at it this way. Are we still going to go for Muslim tickets?
You see, the thing is...
that's another thought here.
When you talk about a Muslim ticket, I'm always not a fan. I am a Christian, but I'm not always a fan of, deciding who gets to rule the country based on religion. Because before we became Muslims, we're, first of all, human beings.
Okay.
So it tells you that regardless of religion, ethnicity, wherever you are from, if you have the qualities to rule, if you have what it takes to be there, I think religion should not be an impediment, should not stop you.
No, I'm actually looking at it from that angle, because people were like, okay, we actually voted Muslim ticket. Is that how we'll continue in this country, having Muslim ticket? And sometimes when you want to say Christian ticket, there's always something, there's always this agitation of no, we just have to do it Muslim, Christian, Muslim. And now we're having another, that is your own conclusion that we might have Kwankwaso as Mr. President's running mate. Are we still going to do the Muslim ticket again?
The thing is,
I hope this will not forfeit the APC.
Let me come here. Yes, they had that issue. The debate was there before this election. The point is, the only thing that stands no chance or close to happening is something that has not happened before. So if there's a precedence that this thing has happened before, believe you me, it can always happen. So that is the situation right now. So if they won the last election with a Muslim ticket, there's still a chance they are going to win again with a Muslim ticket.
You think Nigerians are gullible?
See, it's not. See, the people when
saying what has happened in this administration.
Wait, these same politicians that are running doing Muslim tickets or Christian tickets, they are the ones that divided Nigerians across religious lines, and they are the same people who are trying to play on Nigerians' intelligence based on religion. See, if we remove religion from what we have in Nigeria, that is why we have governors saying they are earmarking a certain amount of money for players. When you know what you could have actually done with that money, pay security personnel to go into the bushes. Why must you play on bandits? So it tells you that we are having issues with religion. Religion is not, what is going to save. It's not even going to save a country like Nigeria. It takes, courage. It takes common sense to actually rule a country like Nigeria. So if you are banking on religion, you are definitely going to fail. Because at one point or the other, if you say you are a Muslim, some people do not align with your faith. If you are a traditional worshipper, you still have people who do not align with you. And if you are a Christian, people do not. And aside from all these three religions, we still have several other religions. So even within Islam, you still have people who will say, oh,
this one is this one is that.
Yeah, that's the point. And then when you go into Christianity, we still have Christians, oh, this one is a white garment, this is that. So it's still there. So the crack has been there, before now. So if for any reason you are going to rule a country like Nigeria, you have to put religion aside, even though it's one of the things that will ring in your head. But if you cannot think past religion, if you cannot think past ethnicity, that's one of the reasons, against all odds, the current president actually was able to secure the tickets and win the election. I'm coming because at every point in time before now, I think since about 30 years ago, we had been building bridges, even with Christians, with Muslims, from states, from ethnicity, or different ethnicity. So he knew what he wanted. So if you want to be a president in Nigeria, you must have done the plan.
Well, let's see. We'll see how it unfolds, but don't forget that we still have 2026. We've jumped the calendar to 2027. That's politics for you.
We are always jumping.
All right, up next is Daybreak News. Stay with us. It's still Daybreak Live on Dominion Television. very good morning to you. Welcome to Daybreak News on Dominion Television. I am Pat Aito. Oyo State's government has said it has procured 2 aircraft to curb the menace of illegal miners, kidnappers and other security threats in the state. This was disclosed in a statement signed by the Commissioner for Information, Prince Dotun Oyelade, after the weekly State Executive Council meeting. Prince Dotun Oyelade noted that the procurement was approved in a renewed determination by the government to secure the state further from the influx of bandits and the perpetuation of their enterprise. According to the Commissioner, Oyo State enjoys a relative peace compared to other states in the Federation. The government will not be complacent because there were still pockets of kidnappings and banditry going on in parts of the state. Prince Oyelade explained that the 2 light aircraft DA-42 MNG model were intelligence, surveillance and reconnaissance ISR aircraft with sophisticated surveillance gadgets capable of identifying targets from high and low altitudes. Understanding the philosophy of command of the Chief of Army Staff is a key to ensuring that the Nigerian Army will be more proactive and responsive going forward to safeguard the territorial integrity of the country. The Commander Training and Doctrine Command Nigerian Army Major General Kevin Aligbe said this at the 2025 TRADOC Nigerian Army Doctrine Development Workshop held at the Command's Auditorium in Minna, with the theme Enhancing Doctrinal Development for Effective Training and Operations in a Joint Environment. TRADOC says the aim is to better position the participants to seamlessly work together in a joint and multi-agency environment. It further disclosed that the aftermath of the workshop will be the conduct of doctrine advocacy to different formations and commands across the country so that officers and men will be on the same page. The wife of the Oyo State Governor, Engineer Tamino Minini Makinde, has called on parents, caregivers, community leaders and healthcare workers to intensify effort in promoting measles and rubella vaccination across the state. She made the appeal during a sensitization program held at the Local Government Staff Training Secretariat in Agodi, Ibadan. An initiative of the Renewed Hope Initiative aims to boost awareness and uptake of vaccines to prevent measles and rubella, especially among children. She also charged the wives of chairmen from all 33 local government areas in the state to take the campaign door to door, ensuring no child is left behind. In a welcome address, the Oyo State Commissioner for Health, Dr. Oluwaseremi Adetumobi, emphasized that measles remains one of the leading causes of child mortality globally, noting that rubella poses a severe risk, particularly for pregnant women. The campaign is part of the ongoing effort by the Oyo State government in partnership with Renewed Hope Initiative to safeguard child health and reduce under-5 mortality through strategic public health initiatives. The United Nations International Children's Emergency Fund, UNICEF, in collaboration with the Plateau State government, has commenced vaccination and sensitization of its residents against the cholera outbreak, which has resulted in 3 deaths, with several cases in Boko's local government area of the state. The Vaccine Security and Logistics UNICEF Plateau State Abubakar Shafal disclosed that Boko's local government area has received over 287,000 doses of vaccine. The recent outbreak of cholera in Boko's local government area of Plateau State has raised serious concerns. To address these, the people are encouraged to take advantage of the cholera vaccine to protect lives and prevent its spread. They are also challenged to adhere to proper sanitation and a clean environment, which remain critical to both prevention and long-term control of cholera. The National Agency for Food and Drug Administration and Control, NAFDAC, has uncovered a massive illegal operation involving the sale of fake chemicals, expired food flavors, unauthorized fertilizers, and repackaged pharmaceutical raw materials in Alakpere area of Ketu Lagos State. The agency in a statement disclosed that the operation led to the arrest of several suspects and the seizure of 3 warehouses filled with dangerous substances. NAFDAC Director of Investigation and Enforcement Martins Yomade told journalists that the raid followed credible intelligence about the criminal network engaged in large-scale food and chemical counterfeiting. Yomade described the agency's action as its campaign carried out to protect the health of Nigerians, stressing that individuals posing as a legitimate business operators will engage while engaging in activities that seriously endanger public health. While Oyo State government has reiterated its commitment to improving rural road infrastructure as part of effort to enhance agricultural productivity and ensure food security across the state. This assurance was given by the Deputy Governor of Oyo State, Barrister Bayo Lawal, during an on-the-spot assessment of the ongoing construction of the Oyada-Okude Road in Tede, Atisbo local government area. Speaking at the inspection site, Barrister Lawal emphasized that the road project being executed under the Oyo State Rural Access and Agricultural Marketing Project, RAMP, is vital for linking farm settlements to urban centers. The Deputy Governor assured residents that the state government is committed to opening more rural roads to support ongoing agricultural activities and promote local tourism. These upgrades are expected to improve market access and enhance trading conditions for farmers and local businesses. Police authorities in Lagos State have announced the restrictions of movement in Southwest State on Saturday, July 12, for the local government elections. The Lagos Police Command said that the movement restriction will begin in the early hours of the day. In a statement, the command said the total restriction of vehicular movement throughout Lagos State will be from 3 a.m. on Saturday, the 12th of July 2025, till 3 p.m. of the same Saturday, 12th of July 2025. The statement read the restriction of vehicular movement will apply to all roads and waterways within Lagos State jurisdiction. However, some sets of persons were excluded from the restriction and movement. The police said essential services such as those on medical emergency and other emergency responders and their workers, the duly accredited officials of the Lagos State Independent Electoral Commission (LASIEC), and accredited election observers and media professionals and election coverage accredited by Lagos State Independent Electoral Commission will be excluded. Human rights activists and the 2023 presidential candidates of the African Action Congress, Omoyele Sowore, has called for an upward review of remuneration of rank and file of the Nigerian police. Sowore made the call while speaking to journalists, said that there was no reason policemen should not earn 500,000 naira per month when the average senator they protect earns 30 million naira per month. He expressed his concern about the people who are really doing the work, and it is for Nigerians to be on the police side to ensure that they are well paid, well remunerated, and when they are no longer in service, they don't become paupers. The Federal Capital Territory Administration (FCTA) has begun the evacuation of street beggars and miscreants from the nation's capital. The move followed a directive from the FCT Minister Nyesom Wike that the satellite towns in the FCT be completely rid of street beggars and traders, wanton syndicates, scavengers, miscreants, and other social nuisances. Disclosing this in a statement, Wike's spokesman Larry Olayinka said the operation code name Operation Sweep Abuja of miscreants, street beggars and traders, scavengers and other criminal elements had commenced in the FCT. The statement disclosed that arrangement had been made to profile them and hand them over to the home state government. Teachers in the Federal Capital Territory FCT have suspended the strike, which lasted more than 3 months and have since resumed classes. The FCT branch of the Nigeria Union of Teachers NUT announced the development in a communique released following an emergency meeting held in Abuja. The union explained that the decision came after teachers received payment for the new minimum wage along with 5 months arrear. The strike, which started in March, had disrupted academic activities in primary schools across the FCT. And on business, the Minister of Power, Adebayo Adelabu, has disclosed that the federal government is working to transition Nigeria's electricity sector to a cost-reflected tariff regime in a bid to halt the mounting 4 trillion naira debt owed to power generation companies. Speaking at the Mission 300 stakeholders engagement meeting held in Abuja, Adelabu said the move is part of broader reforms aimed at restoring sustainability and bankability to the power sector. Despite the recent increase in electricity tariff for Band A customers, many customers have continued to decry low power supply and faulty installations. However, Adelabu maintained that the government decision was necessary for national economic growth and development. And in sports, former Napoli Sporting chief Paolo Marino has disclosed that clubs within the Serie A will find it difficult to meet with Super Eagles striker Victor Osimhen's €75 million clause in his contract. Marino noted that only club outside Serie A will be able to match Napoli's demand. He also cast doubt over Galatasaray's intention in the pursuit of Nigerian international, suggesting the Turkish club's move could be a strategic front for an eventual transfer to an Italian giant. He further said the clause, in my opinion, is right for Osimhen's international value. He is one of the few 10 in the world who can shift the balance of a team from non-winning to winning. Always know that you can visit our website on www.dominion.org.ng to listen to us live and interact with us. You can also follow us across our social media platforms: Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, and LinkedIn at Dominion Broadcast, and on X at Dominion Cast. And that is the Daybreak News. Thank you so much for watching. I am Pat Aito.
Òdèrè kòkò àlàáfíà ni, bó wọlé ayọ̀ ni, àtúnilára gbẹ̀dẹ̀gbẹ̀dẹ̀. Hello guys, it's your girl Òdèrè. Keep watching Dominion Television, your channel of choice.
back. It's still Daybreak Live on Dominion Television. We'll welcome you to newspaper headlines for today. We'll begin with News Direct. We have a Nigeria News Direct saying that a big banner here at 9th of OPEC seminar. Federal government calls for investment to boost production, energy security, and with the rider as Lokobere's lament of fair financing structure for African countries. And we have this as well from the Nigeria News Direct. Lagos launches 20-year master plan to tackle traffic crisis. That's coming from the governor, Babajide Sanwo-Olu. Well, lots from the Nigeria News Direct. We have federal government secures Deutsche Bank backed $747 million loan for coastal highway, and that's on page 16 of the Nigeria News Direct. And on top of the newspaper, we have CAC partners NSITF to strengthen employee compensation scheme, and that's on page 5 of the Nigeria News Direct. And we have this one, the economy side. Nigeria's economy is steadily improving under Tinubu. That's Minister of Information Stocking, that's Mohammed Idris, as editors submit report on law reforms, and that's on page 3 of the Nigeria News Direct. And lastly, from the Nigeria News Direct, we have again UAE slams tougher visa conditions on Nigerians as federal government demands reversal a new U.S. visa rules, and that's on page 5 of the Nigeria News Direct. Away from that, we head straight to the Daily Independent. The Daily Independent is coming with this one. U.S. visa restrictions is about reciprocity on Nigeria experts, and with an insight there, UAE stops transit visa for Nigerians, and that's coming from the Daily Independent. And Daily Independent, we have the Senate orders probe into Ponzi schemes after 1.3 trillion naira Cybex collapse. With so many riders there, moves to amend the Electricity Act to rescue failing power sector, and that's on page 7 of the Daily Independent. And EFCC chair to lawmakers criminalize unexpected wealth or forget anti-corruption victory. That's on page 6 of the Daily Independent. And from page 6 as well, we have lawyers submit petition to House of Reps against NMDPRAMD. And still from page 6 of the Daily Independent, 6 months after appointment, Ganduje inaugurated chair of Fans Board. That's on page 6 of the Daily Independent. And still from the Daily Independent, we have this. 2015, nobody made Buhari president. Boss Mustafa, that's the former SJF, talking there with riders as Gowon defends Buhari's legacy and says Buhari's integrity unshaken. Even critics can't deny it. You can get a copy of Daily Independent to read more. And away from that, we head straight to This Day. This Day is coming with that particular a story I read from the Daily Independent saying that Boss Mustafa Buhari allowed institutions to work, prioritize structure over showmanship. And we have riders there. Says former President Constant 12 million votes bettered its presidency in 2015. Tinubu, my predecessor, showed humility, restraint, maturity in exercise of presidential powers. And Obiagina, 40 years ago, I was the last journalist to interview Buhari just before IBB's coup. That's on This Day. And you want to read more, you get that from page 9 of This Day. And from This Day, we have this visa reciprocity. Federal government urges U.S. to reconsider single entry decision. And away from that, at the top corner of This Day, we have Lookman. Coalition will avoid past mistakes of Atiku Obi to defeat Tinubu in 2027. And that's all you can find from the This Day newspaper. Away from that, we head straight to The Guardian. And The Guardian is coming with this one. A big one here. International travel restrictions spark fresh row over absence of ambassadors. That's on page 6 of The Guardian. And we have this as well. UAE bans transit visas, imposes stricter entry rules for Nigerians. Page 5 of The Guardian as well. And beside it, we have 2027. Don't underrate Tinubu, Rebado warns opposition. You read more on page 3 of The Guardian. And an EFCC decries mind blogging fraud at NNPCL, warns unexplained wealth criminalized. That's on page 3 of The Guardian. A lot from the page from The Guardian, and we have this one. Niger attack claims 13 as 20 bandits die in Kwara. That's on page 30 of The Guardian. Again, 20 gunmen raid Aguata local council, killed 4. That's on page 20 of The Guardian. And on page 6, we have this. Delegates will decide who gets ADC's presidential ticket, says Article's spokesperson. All that you can find from The Guardian this morning. We are straight to The Nation, and The Nation comes with us. One aviation experts knock splash of cash by states on unviable airports. And we have International Council of Beverages Association tackles WHO on SSB tax. That's on The Nation. That's page 4 of The Nation. And we have this one. Tinubu's reforms building on Buhari's legacy. You read more? You want to read more? Get a copy of The Nation this morning. Well, Daily Trust is coming with a different headline, and this one is: we uncovered mind-blogging corruption in oil sector. EFCC is talking. And away from that, we head straight to the FCT, where strike. FCT molds third-term extension for primary schools. That's on page 5 of the Daily Trust as well. And I will defeat Matawali before 10 a.m. on election day. Zamfara governor is talking. And we have this one. Federal government resumes trial of terrorists. And lastly, from the Daily Trust, we have 13 killed as bandits attack Niger communities and 30 gunmen neutralized in Katsina. You can get a copy of Daily Trust to read more stories and make more headlines there for you to read. Away from that, we head straight to the Nigerian Tribune. Nigerian Tribune is coming with us when Buhari's popularity won 12.5 million votes for APC in 2015. That's former SGF boss Mustafa talking, and says ACN, CPC, other major parties brought 3 million votes. And Buhari administration stood on pillars of integrity. Tinubu is saying that. You read that on page 4 of the Nigerian Tribune. 3 police officers, 2 soldiers die as security forces kill 3 bandits in Katsina. Suspected bandits killed 13 in Niger community. That's on page 10 of the Nigerian Tribune. And on page 16 of the Nigerian Tribune, we have this: UAE imposes fresh visa condition on Nigerians, ban visa, transit visa, and a lot of headlines here on the Nigerian Tribune, from the Nigerian Tribune. Well, you can get a copy of that and read more. From the Punch, we have this: diplomatic tensions. Federal government pushes back as UAE tighten visa rules. A rider. Ministry begins high-stakes negotiation as official fought US over reciprocity claim. And we have US meeting. African leaders seek Trump support to develop resources. And that's on page 14 of the Punch. Away from that, economic side, IMF pledges support for of the Punch. And local government poll. Police restricts movement and Lagos deploy squads. That's on page 6 of the same paper. And lastly, from the Punch, we have Tinubu government seeking excuse to clamp down on coalition ADC, and that's on page 14 of the Punch. Well, you want to read? Yeah, pick a copy of any of the newspaper that resonates with your thoughts this morning. Of course, we'll be back. We'll be back with the analysis. Stay with us. It's still Daybreak Live on Dominion Television. All right, welcome back. It's still Daybreak Live on Dominion Television. We're headed straight to newspaper analysis. I'm being joined by Oluwaseun Oluwole, a public affairs analyst. Of course, do not forget that you can watch us and listen to us on www.dominion.org.ng. And of course, you can follow us across our social media platforms, Facebook, YouTube, LinkedIn, TikTok at Dominion Broadcast, and on X at Dominion Cast. So welcome to a newspaper analysis. Good morning, Oluwaseun.
Good morning.
How are you this morning?
Fine. And you?
And this one, you're fine. I won't take that. What happened? It's going to be fine.
Maybe
we're in
the cold.
Maybe the
it's
cold.
Been raining recently in Ibadan.
Oh, in Ibadan. But it's not only in Ibadan. It's everywhere.
It's everywhere. Even in Texas. I don't know what's going on there.
You don't know what's going on. When it has been raining for, I mean, someone was saying
a rain that's supposed to come in 4 months came in 4 hours. So we have flooding in Texas.
Well, we're in Nigeria. We're not going to Texas now. Right. So let's begin with the Punch. The Punch has this one: diplomatic tension. Federal government pushes back as US UAE tighten visa rules. Ministry begins high-stakes negotiations as official fought U.S. over reciprocity claim. And what steps is the Nigerian government taking to address the visa restrictions and protect the interests of its citizens?
For the past 3-4 years, we could see the handwriting on the wall with the Japa syndrome that came into being then. I knew it will come to a time that everything we need to come, we will definitely come to a halt by different governments from different countries. The surge has risen so much that if care is not taken, there's going to be a massive, it's already happening. We already have the massive drain or brain drain. I wouldn't say brain drain. Not only in the professional sector are we having the drain, people moving out in droves. And it will boil down to it that many countries will change their visa regime. It will definitely come. We could see that coming. We should have imagined it coming in even earlier than this, before even the Trump administration in the US. It has become so enormous. So the federal government, I don't see them doing anything. There are no steps that could be taken unless the economy of the Nigerian citizens gets better. If it doesn't, you will still see it spilling over to some other countries.
And that's why UAE is coming.
The same thing will still come in to be from other countries. Just last year or 2 years ago, Georgia banned Nigerians from traveling. A lot of visa bans are coming in from Bahrain. So many lesser countries, talk less of US. It will spill over to the UK. Some people are saying maybe it's because of the absence of some ambassadors, some of our ambassadors in some country. But in a country where we are not well represented, definitely it will happen.
True.
It will happen. But changing visa regimes will always come. Visa regimes will always change. It will always come. Now the visa tenure has been changed to 3 months with single entry. Meaning you can only go in and come out, and the moment you are done with that, it expires. So you need to reapply. Now, I was telling somebody yesterday, does it not make sense for me to spend a whole lot of money? Still not minding about, we're still not talking about flight tickets now. You know how much it costs now. in dollars because we have to now change it to naira and everything. We have to trade in dollars. Now, the cost of traveling to America now for 3 months will be over 6 million. Is it worth it anymore? If you have 6 million in Nigeria, won't you stay? But you have something very important to do in less than
6 million in Nigeria. Some people will tell you cannot start any business.
But can I now use that 6
But
million?
at least you still have free.
Under 3 months. 3 months. To travel for 3 months and come back. Most Nigerians don't want to hear that. Everything will still, it will still tell on the economy. Even the travel agencies will feel it. They will feel it. So the federal government needs to put its house in order. So the economy is not right. People want to travel. The Japa syndrome has come to stay. Things are not getting better. I won't lie to you. Don't let us shy away from the facts. Things are not getting better. But the moment, like you said, people will have that 6 million and they'll tell you, can you actually do a business? Can you actually start a business? Then they'll prefer to travel. But the surge has come so high that the people, your host country, are feeling it. They are feeling it, so they need to cut it. Now, Trump has come to say every visa regime, even every nationality, is going to be restricted in the US. There's going to be a lot of restrictions from different nationalities. Thank God we are not placed on total ban. It's just restricted, minimally.
Okay, now the ministry, they said ministry begins high stakes negotiation as official fault US over reciprocity claim. What are those things you need? How would they review? Are there any plans to review or renegotiate visa agreement with US and UAE?
What is the percentage of Americans coming in to Nigeria? To the percentage of Nigerians going abroad? Going abroad, especially to the US. So what do we need to negotiate? Is there anything that we are gaining or that we'll be losing if they don't come into Nigeria? I mean, what is the percentage? Now, negotiations on what? Do we still believe that our people should keep on traveling? Of course, there will always be movement. There's always be travel itineraries and everything. But one thing is, how do we put our house in order so that traveling will become less attractive? Overseas will become less attractive to our own people. The economy is not doing much. The economy is not doing much. So we have the government agencies now trying to negotiate. Negotiate what? What have we put in place for us to stop this massive brain drain, or to stop people from to even stem it from this syndrome, the Japa syndrome? We have people going to Libya, going through the desert, go to a lot of places that you have a lot of destinations now that you've never heard before, like Seychelles, like Cape Verde, like a lot of people. Now people are, why don't we just put our house in order first? Make it more attractive for us to stay here. Improve the economy. Then we won't have problems like we won't have restrictions. Imagine Bahrain, Georgia, and a lot of lesser countries putting restrictions. When they are doing that, then what do you expect less from the US? Now we want to start negotiating what? Get to the airport this morning. Over 8,000, over 10,000 we'll be traveling today.
Well, let's leave that. Well, it concerns us well, but then we'll leave that for the federal government to intervene and let something happen. Well, let's move to politics now. Tinubu government seeking excuse to clamp down on coalition. That's ADC. And what are the ADC's concerns about the potential clampdown, and how might it affect their activities?
Well, ADC clamped down. Federal government, Tinubu is not clamping down on any coalition.
There are lots of talks, the way they talk down on them, like the coalition are actually a recycled politician.
We already know that. So clamping down on them is like restricting their own freedom of participation in politics. Nobody can do that. They have their freedom, they have their will. But the coalition itself, they are trying to tell us they are having internal cracks. It's like they are not saying it themselves. They are having internal cracks.
Crisis?
Yes, they do have that. They are not going to admit that. So you now claiming that Tinubu is trying to clamp down on coalition. It means you are not, the synergy among you is not working. And you think the outside force is working towards your achievement of the coalition. That somebody is trying to clamp down. There's no clamping down on any political party. Everybody has their own will to form a political party. Coalition is free to come to being. But the moment a coalition that is supposed to be start telling you somebody is trying to clamp down on them for their own movement, for their own involvement in politics, then there's something wrong with them. They've not actually cemented their own synergy, their home base, their own platform to operate on, which they want to operate on. So they're now saying somebody trying to clamp down on them means you are not solid yet to withstand the force that you think is trying to clamp down on you. So there's no clamping down. Nobody's clamping down on anybody. And if President Tinubu has already said that he's not a party of, he's not a fan of a one-party system. So why try to clamp down on another party or other parties or coalition try to come into being? He's not going to do that. Rather than doing that, he would rather put his might into trying to outsmart you, outplay you, outshine you. But for this coalition, I try to say, somebody is trying to climb. No, you people should, there's still a gap between your understanding. There's still a lot to do between them. If you even actually talk about this coalition, we have different parties that have come together now. Now, who's actually going to be the flag bearer? I keep saying that. I keep asking.
They are working on it.
Working on it. So that is where
And
the climbing down.
that's
why they say. Yeah.
Okay, let's look at it. What might a government clamp down on the coalition impact Nigeria's democracy, human rights, and freedoms? How?
That's why I keep saying, that's why I'm saying now that federal government clamping down on any coalition means we are trying to operate, or we've not gone into a totalitarian sort of government, which actually will now take away the freedom of expression, or the freedom of speech, or the freedom from the people, or you are trying to disenfranchise people from their rights of election, to this election, to democracy. If that is actually right, that spells doom for the normal citizen, for the ordinary citizen, to actually express themselves politically, to actually express themselves, their political will, to come out, like somebody was saying in the Senate that if you don't come out and vote, it should be mandatory that you should vote. If you don't vote, 6 months, the fine and everything. No, nobody should be coerced into a state of mind which he or she will believe that he doesn't have any freedom, he or she doesn't have any freedom to associate.
Let me just ask, are there any potential implications or reactions to a government crackdown?
There will definitely be. When such a thing happens,
international implications.
That means the democracy we say we are practicing to the international observers is not actually right. Why don't we just put off the agbada and put on the military garment? Because the moment you disenfranchise and you take away the rights of people, their liberation, it means they are no longer free. Now, all these things still boil down to coming from the visa change of the visa regime change and everything. All these things tells on the citizens themselves, individually and wholly as a nation, that you people, the moment things like this start happening, countries start staying away from you. They start restricting you. There's restrictions coming from different countries. These people are not actual. Now, the moment we have this, there'll be a lot of outcry from the international community, and there'll be a lot of restrictions, maybe through trade, through bilateral relations, and a lot of things will come into being that we might not see it coming yet, and which is negative on the image of the country itself. So government cracking down or clamping down on coalitions or political parties, I think the government should have a rethink if they are trying to do that. But left to me, I don't see Tinubu or his administration doing that. And if you decide to come to that, then that means there are some things that he himself, maybe as a matter of hindsight or foresight, forget or decide not to look into.
All right, let's move on to Nigerian Tribune, where Buhari's popularity, that's its big headline there, that Buhari's popularity won 12.5 million votes for APC in 2015. That's coming from the former SGF boss, Mustafa. Says ACN, CPC, all the major parties brought 3 million. And Buhari administration stood on pillars of integrity. That's coming from Tinubu. The integrity, what's the integrity about? Under Buhari, we had so many corrupt officials talking about Babachi Lawal and the rest. Before
Buhari came into power the second time, we have this history of his coming in as a military officer then, and the things he stood for then, yes, which he stood for then, and those things were remembered by so many people. The history came to play, and word of matter, this was what he did then. So that was the integrity that Tinubu was talking about. Then it was integrity. That was what he was referring to. But as at then that he became the president the second time, we've had a mixture of politicians coming to being that has come to stay, that have come to being, that have been so much corrupt that even that when you see them, you wouldn't believe that such a thing, such an act can come from them. Of course, everybody voted in. The popularity of Tinubu came in from of Buhari came in from the past administration, which he did under the military government then. So we thought that same integrity was still there, not minding that, no, the way he handled the military regime is not the way he's going to handle the democratic regime administration. People are free, officers are free under him to do as they, and he can't actually pin them down or coerce them into doing some things. Way back then, there's a leash on every officer. You can actually put a leash on them to restrict them on their ministries, to actually pinpoint, to actually delve into their ministries and actually know what is going on, how money has been spent and what is being released and everything. But under democracy, it was a different ball game for Buhari himself. They should ask him. It was that integrity that gave him the popularity, which SGF was now talking about now. It was that gave him the popularity. So everybody, we all voted him then. A lot of Nigerians now voted him that, there is going to be a different... in 1980 something. It's going to be a different ball game this time around, the same ball game, but it's different. Officers, ministries, and everything are now corrupt. You come into, like a former governor of Oyo State was saying that the governors are not corrupt. It is when they get there that the bureaucracy under them will tell them, Governor, this is how we do it. You just sign this. No, don't make my worry. Just do this way. That's how we do it. The last governor knew. That's how we do it. 10 million is for you, sir. This is for... It is the bureaucracy under each administration that actually soil the hands that controls the administration. We are the people. We run the bureaucracy, the machineries of the bureaucracy, and they'll be the ones to tell you that is where the money is. That's where
still talking about the integrity, how did the administration's commitment to integrity affect the business environment and investment climate in Nigeria during his administration?
The international business environment was so much affected because of the, we can say integrity, but when the place where you are supposed to have integrity and you have something else.
You know why I'm asking that? Because I'm seeing Tinubu reforms building on Buhari's legacy.
Buhari's legacy, where we have so much.
So that's why I'm asking, how did the
borrowing.
administration's commitment to integrity affect the business environment?
It's a two-way thing. It is different from the other. Under this administration, we have so many borrowing and everything under the Buhari administration. Well, let's look at the currency change itself. How much was invested into changing our currency? Did we actually change it? The corruption then was so high. Now, if you are telling me this administration is now building on that one, we are still saying the same thing, that this same regime is doing the same thing, the same mistakes that the other regime did. So, Tinubu now saying that maybe he should have a rethink, sit down, because we have not actually woken up from the nightmares of what happened economically under the Buhari regime. Now, you're not telling us your whole regime is not building on that. I don't think it's the same thing.
All right.
It's not the same thing.
All right. Thank you so much, Oluwaseun Oluwole, for shedding light on the headlines we have from our national dailies this morning. Of course, we keep the conversation going on all our social media platforms: Facebook, TikTok, YouTube, LinkedIn, and at Dominion Broadcast, and of course on X at Dominioncast. We'll be back tomorrow for another fresh episode of the newspaper headlines and analysis. So once again, Oluwaseun Oluwole, thank you so much for coming on the program this morning. All right, coming up next is Big Story, where we'll look at Governor Seyi Makinde procuring 2 aircraft to fight kidnapping and the rest. Samson Balogo is coming with that very soon.
All right, good morning and welcome to the big story on Daybreak Live, exclusively on Dominion Television, where we spotlight the headlines that matter and the stories shaping our nation. I'm your host, Samson Balogun. On today's edition, we turn our focus on a bold move by the Oyo State government that has stirred both curiosity and conversation. The procurement of 2 aircraft to bolster the state's security architecture. What does this mean for the fight against insecurity? And how significant is this investment for the people of Oyo State? Again, I am Samson Balogun. Thank you for joining us. Now, security remains a fundamental responsibility of government. And in an era where threats to lives and livelihoods have grown more sophisticated, state governments are now taking proactive steps to bridge the gaps. In Oyo State, the recent acquisition of 2 surveillance aircraft marks a significant milestone, not just in logistics, but in political will and strategic governance. This development, however, has sparked mixed reactions. While some commend the foresight of the Makinde-led administration, others question the cost. 7.7 billion naira is a lot of money. The operation plan and the long-term impact. Today we engage the facts, dissect the implications, and ask questions that matter. Is this a turning point for security in the Southwest, or just another political headline? Good morning once again. I have with me in the studio this morning Honorable Omolaja Olaoye. With him, we'll be making sense of trending stories and, of course, the recent acquisition of aircraft by the Oyo State government. Honorable Omolaja Olaoye, good to have you in the studio.
Good morning, Samson. Good morning, viewers at home. Good morning for having us on the studio today. And how are you doing?
I'm fine.
Thank you very much.
You look fine too.
Thank you.
Let's talk about the state of security in Oyo State. As a resident of the state, how would you rate the current situation in Oyo State in terms of security? We are not comparing now. We just want to rate the administration, this administration on security in Oyo State.
I will commend the administration, but not only the administration, because when you are talking about the security, it is not only meant for the government. It is done by the people. It is how you are going to be able to observe your community, what comes in and what is going out. You are going to be able to monitor the movement of the people. And that is what the residents of your state have been doing. They have been getting alert, and they have been watching every move that whatever that is going on in your state. So I will commend the resident of your state, and I will rather say at least thank you to the government as well.
Okay, you want to say thank you to the government. Recently, we have had some cases of kidnaps, in a few cases of kidnaps, and also FEMA had a crisis in some areas. There was a time this issue had happened in Ibarakwa, where so many people lost their lives, and there were attacks. There were some arrests in the long run. But then, some people in the state still feel they can be safer than they currently are in the state. So how would you rate how has the government been proactive enough when it comes to security in the state, or they have been reactive? What would you say about that?
Seriously, I will tell you what happened in the past before. It is more political intent, more than the way we see it. And the beauty part of it, you talk about it, Barakwa, I love the way you said it, because then, after that, we have not been having any other kind of security blemish in your state again, because that particular time when they were saying it, and I know that the Oyo State government is blaming the federal government, but by the time he went to Abuja to see Buhari then, he knew what he had. Because how are we not going to be commending the federal government? They are giving what every state and local government deserve when you are talking about how to be able to mop up and secure your state. That is why they are giving all the security vote that are being given to the state at every point in time and every month. And I know our governors was asked, what is he doing with it? And since that time, we have not had any kind of ulabola about security problem in our state as well. It makes me to be happy, and it gladdens my heart to hear that, because I know it is generated because of politics, and now that it has died down. I am not saying we cannot get entire security immune. No community can be entirely immune from the security problem, because who committed all these erroneous crimes? They are the people. You can hear what Soludo said as of recent. He said 99% of kidnapping, killing, is being done by the resident. It's being done by the indigent. And you know this is electoral time. It's being genuine. It's not being political. It doesn't want to lie to the people because it wants to hear their vote. It's just telling the truth. We don't need to be stigmatizing a particular ethnic group when we are talking about security challenges and problems, because we need to secure ourselves. We need to be watchful who is coming in to our community, who are those people that are going out. And we must question their wealth as well. Because if you don't question their wealth, when we have any problem, we have ourselves to blame.
You mentioned that insecurity in some part of the country are politically motivated.
I would say I can be able to tell you boldly in our state. And even in our state, then, not now again, because after our governors are went to Abuja and he has had what he doesn't expect, I think all those propaganda about security challenge has already died out.
Okay, now let's talk about when we talk about insecurity in the state. There was a time when during the time of late Governor Rotimi Akeredolu in Ondo State, they came together, Southwest governors. They decided to establish the Amotekun Corps. Now, Amotekun Corps has been established, but the goal of this the establishment, has it been defeated? Are we saying what Amotekun Corps was actually initially meant to be doing in the state? Are we saying exactly that now?
I will tell you, yes, I will commend the Amotekun because they have been doing a real great job, because they have the challenges and people are going to ask questions. That was make them to be up to date in their activities. You know, when they started, they are dabbling into what they don't supposed to dabble in. And you have been seeing them shooting at will and killing some people. But now, when they've been held responsible, I think they have learned their lesson. They are present in any particular place at a point in time, scares all these criminals. And you see, when you are talking about in about a place like UK, you have London police, you have Metropolitan Police, and you have the police. The Metropolitan Police are meant to secure the city, and you will see that at any corner you will be seeing the police vehicle going around at every 10-15 minutes. This alone scared all the criminals, even when they want to involve in activities. Why all those criminals continue doing whatever they are doing is because they are not being held responsible. If they are being held and probably jailed, many of them will desist from doing all this. So I think the Amotekun are doing what they are supposed to do, and since then we added anything about criminality. It is not as the way it was then. So they are coming together for this Amotekun. Yielded a lot of results.
Okay, now let's talk about infrastructure for security personnel in the state. There used to be a time when security operatives would cruise around town in trucks, in semi-trucks, mini trucks. Now we see them in exotic cars. Is this development or misplaced priority?
It's a misplaced priority. I will tell you something. It's a misplaced priority, and our government are not doing things right. You see, we cannot compare ourselves with Lagos State. Lagos have networks of good roads. A lot of places in Lagos are developed. When Lagos resort to using car, why will our state be doing that? the time of late Governor Ajumabi, he procured a lot of these artillery vehicles. I'm talking about Jeep, because they knew the Oyo State architecture. A lot of places we have a lot of bad roads. We have a lot of probably villages, and everywhere you can be able to go to secure people. But when you are talking about this government, when they came in, what they bought is cars. And seriously, we don't need. When you go and check all these cars now, a lot of them are just plastic cars that even to be able to replace their part is going to be very difficult, because all those cars doesn't even have names. Go and ask if they have half of what they had when this administration commenced. And when you see all those vehicles late Ajumabi bought, a lot of them are still intact for this police, the Operation Burst. So I think it's a misplaced priority, and the government must be proactive and try as much as possible to be prudent in their spending.
Now, how would you rate the effectiveness of Operation Burst you just mentioned in Oyo State as you speak compared to what we used to have in Oyo State?
I would say commend all our security forces, because they are doing great job, because they risk their life to be able to be facing all these criminals that we have everywhere in Oyo State. I would just enjoy them to do more. But now, the case of this armed robbery strike from the banks, I think it has reduced drastically well in Oyo State. I'm not saying it's in total, because and more so with these all these online transactions, it helps a lot, because nobody is carrying cash. Even hardly will you see any bank having cash right now, because a lot of them, as it comes in, and they are spending it. So with the paucity of money we are having in the polity, when no much money is being printed, I think it helps a lot to really
curb insecurity.
Curb insecurity in Nigeria as a whole, when you are talking about armed robbery, and it's a welcome development for us as well.
Now to the big question today. The Oyo State government under His Excellency Engineer Seyi Makinde announced that they procured 2 aircraft for 7.7 billion naira. When you heard of that story, what was your initial reaction to the procurement? And as it stands now, what's your reaction?
To me, it seems reckless and even wasteful.
That's a bold claim.
I am telling you. Because this government really takes us for granted. I think we are not living in the Stone Age. A lot of us are civilized and we were exposed. Now, when you are talking about the aircraft, we are waiting to see the aircraft. And I know many aircraft we are talking about are commercial. The way world is now advancing, nobody is going to be using aircraft to fight. We are not talking about country to country. We are talking about state to state, whereby our border cannot even be well defined. That is when you are going to see Osun State and Oyo State, probably they are claiming a kind of dispute.
It's not a fighter jet. They are surveillance aircraft.
What are you going to survey? Intelligent collection is done by human being. Intelligence is done by human.
It can be done by human beings in a aircraft.
I am telling you sincerely, I have a friend that has challenge of being kidnapped around Lagos, Ibadan. And when the police are trying to find them, how will you tell me an aircraft is going to be able to see the underground, what is going on in the tree, under the tree? My friend told me that whenever they hear any sound, they are going to dodge under the tree. Oyo State is not a place that all our land is not cultivated. If you get to a place like UK, you will not find a kind of a thick forest. All of them is going to be used for something, whether cultivated for animal husbandry or no. So I'm telling you, it is going to be hard for you to survey with aircraft. At this advanced age, people now use drone. Drone can bend and go under the tree. You know what I mean by drone?
Certainly.
You see, somebody can just be in the corner of his room and operating drone and do the surveillance.
You are saying the government should have invested in drones.
Drone is more better. We are not living in that age. And I am sure that aircraft is going to be using for campaign.
You are saying there's an ulterior motive.
I am telling you, you are going to see. That aircraft is going to be used for campaign when the election comes.
Are you saying
the aircraft that was not bought in about when even we are having the challenges of Elders Clash or whatever they are having in Okiogun or Ibarakpa is not bought around 4 years ago, 3 years ago. Is now being bought about a year or some few months to the election time. You will see that certainly is going to be used, and a lot of the sad part is that a lot of state are involved in this, in buying of aircraft. They have failed. Even Enugu state government just procure aircraft because for commercial use, for business. Even if they run at loss, at least they knew that people can be conveyed from Abuja to Lagos, and that this is what they done when you are talking about Ibom, Akwa Ibom here or something like that.
Ibom here.
But why are we procuring it? We are not far from Lagos. We are. You see the humongous amount of money
7.7 billion
that even being spent on airport that belong to the federal. It's not Oyo State airport.
But it's in Oyo State.
It might be in Oyo State. Let the federal government spend their money on it. It's like you are telling me Oyo State government is going to repair Ibadan-Lagos expressway. You can see how laughable that can be.
Are you saying these repairs and procurements are just a wild goose chase?
I am telling you, they are white elephant project. I'm telling you, like all these light of your state that doesn't see the light of the day, that they are now replacing it with solar street light. You see, we are just used to wastefulness. This government is very used to wastefulness, and it's not good for your state.
Now, from governance standpoint, how important is this investment to the Oyo State government and to the people of Oyo State?
I'm telling you, it's wasteful. It's the same governor that was telling us that federal government is doing wild goose chase when you are talking about local government autonomy. That people are dying of hunger, and all what federal government can do is to disengage the local government from the state. Grabs. Now, who is making Oyo State to be poorer? Who is creating a kind of poverty in the state? We must ask those questions. This money can be used to cultivate a lot of land. All we heard about is Fashola farm, and there is no banana or maize that is coming from Fashola farm. It doesn't reduce the cost of maize or the cost of banana or the cost of cow or meat in the market.
Now, let me ask you this question. Should states be moving into aviation-related procurements independently, or should such efforts be better coordinated with the federal government? Linking that to the renovation of the airport.
No, even the federal government, all the federal government needs to do is to make the environment to be conducive. That is just supposed to use it to make it to be conducive. All this belong to private individual who can be able to invest in it. It is not even about federal government. Federal government collect their money when any aircraft is leaving. They have tax, they have all this rate they are collecting. But state government doesn't have any business in doing that. The first person that I had in Southwest that invested in it was Fayoshi, and then he invested about 9 billion. And mind you, what happened is that Ekiti State doesn't have any kind of airport, any airport. And what is the result of it today? The money just went down the drain. Even what they have in Akure is not even fully utilizing it. Why do they have to do that in Ekiti State? So now, when you are talking about our state, how many? We have the proximity to Lagos, so people can rather be fly through their road, because now Lagos Ibadan road is it's very easy to go. People are now using train. They rather go to train station and bought a ticket for 12,000 or 15,000 and just go there majestically without any form of, probably they are scared of air crash. Or if you see the kind of people that patronizing this train station, you are going to be surprised. It is first class trains that goes to Lagos. All they do when they get there, they'll get you back to get to airport or anywhere they going. You are telling me I will just spend about 50,000, 60,000 to book an air flight 100,000 from here to Lagos? It is joke.
Okay, now basically let me ask you this question, because people are saying this already. I've read comments about this on some pages on social media overnight while I was studying for the show. Now, people are talking about the cost and long-term maintenance of these aircraft. Do you think the Oyo State government can effectively maintain this aircraft for as long as it is still available? Now, another thing is, someone mentioned that is this not going to eventually be a tourist site for people to just go and take pictures if the government fail to be able to maintain them?
Something. It is bound to fail. This is not about being pessimist. It's about what has happened to some state in the time past. During the debate with Oyetola and Governor Adeleke, they asked about the Osun State aircraft that was bought by Aregbesola. They cannot find it today. And they spent a humongous amount of money to repair it. Not to procure it, to even repair it. And they don't even know where it is.
How tiny can an aircraft be?
You see, that is what I'm telling you. It is not about the 7.7 billion that is being used to procure it. What about the fueling? What about the maintenance? How much are they going to be spending on it every year? Let's be sincere with ourselves. When the Oyo State government said they are going to spend probably about 600 and something million or 400 something million on maintenance of this street light project that has been done. Do you know how much diesel they are going to be buying every day? It's a drain pipe. Pure and simple. It's a drain pipe to the pulse of your state. Any government that is going to be prudent, that is going to be reasonable, should just scrap it. They are just going to scrap it. I'm telling you. A lot of dead aircraft there on a different runway of our airport. So let's be sincere with ourselves. It is. I don't think we are not going to. It is a just drain pipe.
In your opinion, how can the government ensure that this doesn't become another underutilized or mismanaged asset?
It is a mismanaged asset before. Imo here is no more. Osun aircraft cannot be found. I am telling you sincerely, this is just going to be for probably any successful government can be using it to campaign as well, but I think it's going to be used by politicians at the end of the day. It is not meant for the security or good people of the state, but just those who are in power. They are going to be the one that are using it.
So you are saying there is no way the government can make sure it's not an underutilized asset?
A lot of airlines in the world that are even being owned by government, they are going through a lot of challenge. British Airways is doing the same. I am telling you.
But those ones are commercial.
That's not the fact they are commercial. I'm just telling you because there are a lot of challenges. I'm saying it is not prudent enough, very accessible to be using aircraft for surveillance when we can use drone.
Some people say the government has no business in business, that they should only provide an enabling environment. Are you of the same school of thought?
Exactly. NNPC today, when they're in control, they are selling oil for all of us are going to be fighting ourselves to get to NNPC. Where are they today? Who goes to NNPC filling station to buy fuel? People are going to Bova. People are going to all those kind of filling stations they are very challenging. They can be able to compete in the market. Anything government lay their hand upon when it comes to commercial, it is forced. It is going to fail. Let's be sincere with ourselves. Government, the business of government is for them to provide food for us so we can be able to eat belly full. That is why in a place like United States of America are really investing in wheat to the disadvantage of ILO, International Labour Organization. They are still selling it. The investment in wheat supposed to stay in US, but they are exporting it. Are you getting what I'm trying to say right now? But they want their people to eat first. That is it. The business the government has anything upon is to provide food on the table of its populace at a cheaper price. Now, not all these wastefulness when you are talking about commercial aircraft instead of civilian aircraft. We are waiting to see the picture.
Now, when government makes such a high-level investment, how important is public engagement and communication when this happens?
That is afterthought when it is being approved. Have you seen any time the government debated on any kind of step or policy you wanted to do? They don't. They don't test the water. The business, all of us are crying over what's it called? Fuel subsidy. This happened. I remember this happened during time of Babangida, and Babangida was the first person that started commercial transport throughout the whole federation. That is when we have TCTC in our state. The first time we had it was during the time of Muhammad. What's it called? This man that was killed in what's it called? Murtala Muhammad. He did it in Lagos State for only Lagos. Babangida did it throughout the whole federation. We had TCTC in your state. Now, late Ajumabi did Ajumose, and a lot of people are having. Why this aircraft? Why can't they buy buses?
This is for surveillance, not for
surveillance. Drone can be used. Something. Drone is more intelligent. It is more soft. It is more better. Who are those that are going to handle it? Police has helicopter. Whenever there is problem, when there is they have serious armed robbery in Lagos, they didn't buy helicopter. Because they didn't. He procured helicopter. He knew helicopter cannot do anything. What did he do? He bought all these armor carrier, and he knew wherever those people place. That is what Fashola did.
They are stationed at strategic locations.
And that is what Fashola did. Do you know what happened?
It happened in Ogun State, in the Jebodi, for example.
It was Fashola that started it. And what happened when you are talking about Abroad? It abated. Because they knew it is not about a human being that is going to be doing the gunshot. Somebody is just going to be protected and is going to be firing them away. All of them ran away. They ran to Lagos. And they came to Oyo State. The Oyo State did it. Followed by Osun. When you are talking about the surveillance, intelligent collection from the people, it is the ultimate for any kind of intelligent collection. It is human being that is going to do it. They are going to be within the community and they are going to be asking questions.
Honorable Molaja, let me ask you this question before we go. Do you think there is any chance that this project might be a success for your state?
Something 99% guarantee, 120% guarantee is going to fail. I'm telling you.
You're 100% sure.
What are you? The maintenance. The maintenance is going to be ridiculous. A pipeline for corruption. And when people take advantage, what do you think happened to a presidential fleet of jets? When Buhari came, he reduces it. He reduced it. Because he knew people are eating from it. The same this Tinubu government said he doesn't want to be using electricity because he knew it's a pipeline for corruption. What did he do? He said they are going solar. And when you are talking about solar, it is more beneficiary to the environment, and it's something that you can be able to manage than spending money anyhow.
Do you think other state governments in Oyo State, in Nigeria, might follow the same trend just after our governorship.
Anybody that does that trend knew that going is going to be wasteful, and people will ask questions in the nearest future. I am telling you that it has. I'm giving you some example. It happened in our state. What comes out of it? They cannot even find it right now. So the money is gone. Osun State, yes.
All right, Honorable Molaja Adeoye, thank you for joining us. Olaoye, thank you for joining us in the studio this morning.
Thank you.
It has been a wonderful session with you.
Thank you for having me.
This conversation has not ended. We are still going to have something more interesting to talk about, especially when it comes to security and insecurity in the state and Nigeria at large.
No problem. Thank you.
And that brings us to the end of the big story for today. The skies above Oyo State may soon be watched more closely. But on the ground, the people still demand safety, stability, and transparency. Whether these aircraft become a game changer or just another government project will be determined by implementation, oversight, and the people's experience. Thank you for joining us on Daybreak Live here on Dominion Television. It has been the big story right here. Samson Balogun is my name. Until next time, keep asking the big questions because every story deserves to be told. Bye for now. Welcome back from that short break. The show is still Daybreak Live right here on Dominion Television, your channel of choice, where inspiration meets entertainment. Do not forget you can be a part of the conversation by linking up with us on all socials, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, even YouTube. Subscribe to those channels, like them, follow us, and be a part of the conversation. Drop your comments there. You can also watch us live on our website, www.dominion.org.ng. Now we head straight to Trend Watch this morning, where we bring you trends on social media. I won't be doing this alone. Pat Aito is still here.
Right here.
And we have a lot to discuss when we talk about trend. We don't have too much time, but then we are going to make sure that we maximize the little time we have.
Yes.
Talking about the video. He's here. And
yes, they're saying that this free jets where they fly all around the world, they really pay no now. I'm sorry, it's my birthright. In my next live, I will come as Wakunizer. Might be third on the way between.
I mean, he has had, back and forth with some people on social media recently, and he kept replying them. I think he really didn't. He shouldn't have, replied them.
Like you said. So if Tinubu be a YouTube,
I mean, it's not his fault that he came into the Adeleke family, and you can always. Okay, what we'll do quickly is go on a short break. We'll be back after this time out. Welcome back. We're talking about the Davido story. And then there's a comment on that. I think that _Gram says, I don't know why there's so much on this guy. He comes off as someone who is free-spirited, jovial, a little drama here and there, but nothing wrong with that. Most people are pained he was born into wealth. Oh, who want flex your life and keep enjoying your privileges. I mean, that he was born into the Adeleke family. It's not his choice. He didn't make that choice by himself. So why the hate?
Well, it's Iliolano Oniyono, let me put it that way. So you might be seeing him flying and everything. You don't really know what they are going through. He grew up not knowing not enjoying that motherhood care like that, and you're just coming there because it's flying here and there, and you are. I think that should not be anybody's problem. No.
Now, straight away to the landlord of the FCT, former governor of Rivers State.
Landlord for 4 years.
Is the current landlord for the FCT. Of course, he launches crackdown on beggars, scavengers in Abuja, plans deportation to home states. I mean, there's a publication, there's a press release from, his spokesperson, Lady Olayinka, of course, speaking about
said a lot about it. But these had happened before. I mean, it was during Fashola's regime or administration that such a thing happened, and people were deported back to their home states. And some people were coming, no, we're in Nigeria, and we have right to live everywhere.
Provided you are doing the right thing.
Right thing. Being a beggar is not the right thing.
It's not a job, actually.
It's not a job. You've been a scavengers going here and there, and this will be talking about
properties.
We'll be talking about how we can nip security in the bud. And you've been a scavengers for how many years, God knows how many years, and you're coming to say, oh no, it's not time for them.
We have seen scavengers who actually ended up carrying someone's generator, all in the name of picking, scavenging. So it's something that really should be checked. And I feel like I'm not saying what the former governor of Rivers State is doing is totally right, but I feel like if you are in Nigeria and you are free to live in any state, it is understood. But you must be doing the right thing. get a legal job, get a job that, you know, you can always say, oh, this is my job.
This is my job. This
but
is what I
begging
do.
is not a job. So if you want to beg, you should be able to do it in your state. I mean, that should just be.
And that is even so. It's much here in Ibadan. You see so many of them coming to say, oh, please help with this, and you still see this. Some of them comes with different tactics.
I mean, I've been at an ATM point where I went to withdraw, and then I realized someone was already waiting for me to withdraw.
To just withdraw and just
I was like, oh, so if I have withdrawn just 1,000, I should give it to you. I mean, it's not done anywhere. It's fine to actually be merciful to people, you know, being able to give alms, but then people should not make it a permanent employment. I mean, there's always, see, no matter how difficult it is, there's always a way out if you are willing to do it. There are many jobs that can actually put food on your table until you are able to find your feet.
But Wiki had started with this one. I wish that we have continuity in this.
Let's take this comment.
Just
I think
one comment.
I am Freshy says you should get deported in your own country self. I mean, this can always happen if they feel you are not doing the right thing in that state which you have chosen to reside. I mean, there's no big, provided you know, every law that guides this is being followed by the FCT, and that is the convenient point where we draw the curtains on today's edition of Daybreak Live right here on Dominion Television. We say a very big thank you to everyone that has been a part of the show so far. Don't forget, you can keep the phone conversation going by linking up with us on all social media platforms: Facebook, Instagram, TikTok at Dominion Broadcast, and on X, formerly Twitter, at Dominion Cast. Watch us live too on our website www.dominion.org.ng. Now I'll leave you to this Thursday morning. Whatever you find yourself, do what makes you happy. Samson Balogun is my name. Bye for now. All
right, I am Pat Aito saying have a wonderful Thursday. It's Throwback Thursday. Go and look for that your old picture and just put it on your status. Have a wonderful Thursday. Bye.